You sit completely frozen while your mother paints your face, like a luxury rental car heading to a demolition derby. You are barely a teenager. You're draped in imported silk, dripping in solid gold bangles, and terrified out of your mind. You are the daughter of Xerxes, the king of kings. But in the ancient Persian court, hitting puberty doesn't mean you get a sweet coming-of-age party. It means your free trial of childhood has expired, and you've just been drafted into the most twisted family business on earth. Your mother finishes applying the heavy black makeup, looks you dead in the eye with zero emotion, and delivers the sentence that permanently shatters your reality. Tonight, your father will summon you. Yeah, your father. Welcome to the ancient Persian Empire, where the royal family tree doesn't have branches. It's just one highly traumatized, tightly braided wreath. Because your dad doesn't just think he's a king. He thinks his blood is literal divine magic. And thanks to a religious loophole so massive you could march a Spartan army through it, keeping that bloodline pure is considered a sacred duty. So instead of being protected by the most powerful man on earth, you realize you are basically just premium livestock in his personal VIP petting zoo. The palace eunuchs spend hours prepping you. These guys act like ancient HR managers, except instead of handling payroll, they manage human rights violations. You are bathed, oiled, and dressed in fabrics designed to show off every developing curve. You are instructed to smile, to be grateful, and to act like this is a massive honor. You are forced to walk into your own father's bedroom and pretend you're thrilled about it. And the worst part? Your mom knows. The guards know. The entire palace knows. It is completely normalized. It's just another Tuesday in Persepolis. You survive that night by mentally clocking out and leaving your body on autopilot. You stare at a fixed point on the chamber wall, retreating into a tiny corner of your own mind just to survive. You think, okay, that was the worst thing that will ever happen to me. Wrong. Because the true horror isn't just the first night. It's the waiting game. You never know when the eunuch will knock on your door again. You live in a constant, suffocating state of anxiety. Some of your sisters completely break under the pressure. They go catatonic, staring at walls like a broken medieval loading screen. And what does your dad do? He quietly ships them off to rural estates, because having a mentally broken daughter is bad for the royal brand. You quickly realize your dad doesn't just view you as his personal property. He views you as a highly versatile military asset. A few years later, your dad decides to invade Greece. He packs up the largest army in human history. But instead of leaving his daughters safely at home in the palace, he orders the construction of massive, reinforced wagons. He packs you all into these heavy, dusty curtain boxes and drags you to the front lines. You're thinking, great, a family road trip to a bloodbath. But you aren't there to cheer him on. You're there because your dad has discovered a brand new, completely deranged management strategy. He is using his traumatized daughters as employee of the month bonuses for his generals. Imagine surviving years of abuse from your dad, only to have a palace eunuch knock on your tent and say, "Hey, General Megabyzus just crushed a Greek rebellion." Your dad says he gets to use you for the weekend as a reward. You are handed over to a grizzled, battle-scarred military commander who is old enough to be your grandfather. And you are expected to be enthusiastic about it. You aren't a princess. You are a human Starbucks gift card, handed out to whoever had the highest kill count that week. General Dadas takes a fortress. He gets a 30-day subscription to your sister's trauma. The entire camp knows what's going on. The common soldiers look at you, the supposedly sacred royal daughters, and realize you are being passed around like the spoils of war. It motivates the absolute hell out of the army, because every soldier suddenly thinks, if I fight hard enough, maybe I'll get a turn in the VIP trauma tent. You have no voice. You have no rights. You are handed from commander to commander, dissociating so hard you are basically just a ghost haunting your own body. And then, despite all of this, the Persians lose the war. Your dad's massive, invincible army gets absolutely humiliated by the Greeks at Salamis and Plataea. He packs up what's left of his dignity and retreats back to Persia. You think, finally, we lost. We are going home. Maybe the nightmare is over. But men with absolute power don't handle losing well. Your dad's ego is bruised. He needs to feel like a god again. He needs to prove he is still in control of something. So he tightens his grip on the only people who can't fight back, you and your sisters. The summons to his chambers become more frequent. The treatment becomes more violent. You aren't just serving his twisted desires anymore. You are absorbing his anger over losing to a bunch of guys in bronze underpants. And when he finally gets bored of you, when you are so psychologically shattered that you can barely string a sentence together, instead, your dad looks at his ego. He realizes he can't break a public oath without looking weak. So he looks at the old man and he says one word: granted. Just like that, you are handed over, not to a handsome prince, but to one of the very same 60-year-old generals he might have loaned you out to during the war. He does it to buy political loyalty, wrapping you up like a broken, heavily traumatized parting gift. You are sent to live in your new husband's compound. You are completely isolated. No letters from your mom. No visits from your sisters. Artabanus doesn't want a wife. He wants a royal incubator with a pulse to tie his bloodline to the throne. Every day is a clinical, terrifying waiting game. The palace physicians track your cycles like ancient spreadsheet nerds. Eventually, you do get pregnant. Artabanus throws a massive party. You stare blankly out the window, crying silently, because you know the ultimate trap has just snapped shut. If you deliver a royal heir, you are permanently bolted to this man. You go through 2 grueling days of labor. You deliver a boy, but the baby is weak. 10 days later, the baby dies. And this is where your nightmare shifts from tragic to actively dangerous. Because men with absolute power never check their own engine light. They blame the women trapped in the room with them. Artabanus goes completely off the deep end. He suspects you did it on purpose. He becomes paranoid, controlling, and violently abusive. You endure beatings. You are locked away. Word eventually gets back to your dad about what's happening to you. And what does the mighty King of Kings do? He sends a polite warning. Artabanus basically replies with, "You gave her to me. She's my property now. Check the receipt." And your dad backs down. He chooses his public relations over your survival. 14 years go by. 14 years of being a ghost haunting your own life. You stop eating, you stop talking. Eventually, karma comes knocking. Your husband, Artabanus, decides he wants the whole empire. He assassinates your dad in a palace coup. For a brief, chaotic 7 months, your husband runs the empire, until your half-brother rolls in with the royal guard and slaughters him. The nightmare man is dead. Your negligent father is dead. Your brother, the new king, offers you your old life back. He gives you private quarters, servants, freedom. But it's too late. You are only 28 years old, but your hair is streaked with gray. Your eyes are completely vacant. One day, your brother sends musicians to your room to try and cheer you up. They start playing a song. It's the exact same melody they were playing at the banquet 14 years ago. The night your dad gave you away. Something inside you, finally, totally snaps. You scream. You destroy the instruments. You collapse onto the floor in a puddle of pure, concentrated grief. It is the first time you have cried out loud in over a decade. You die a few years later. The official records say it was a prolonged illness. The whispers in the palace say you simply starved yourself to death because it was the one and only choice you were ever allowed to make. It sucks to be the daughter of King Xerxes. Not because of the heavy dresses or the boring court rituals. It sucks because you are born into a system that looks at a child and sees nothing but a pawn, a prize, and a punching bag, all wrapped up in a silk bow. You survive in it, you endure it, but you never, ever escape it.